The purpose of the Can Praxis programs is twofold. It's a therapeutic program and it's an educational program. We understand that an OSI, an operational stress injury, brings conflict and crisis into everyone's daily life, and our focus is to help the individuals who have been injured have at least one successful conversation a day with the person that's most important to them, specifically their spouse. Because if you can have one, you can have two, and if you can have two successful conversations, that's the start of recovery from the injury. The people that benefit from this program are those that have been diagnosed with an operational stress injury. It doesn't really matter where you are in your recovery. It all comes down to the fact that no conversation, no resolution. So our program is designed specifically to help those folks understand how to have those conversations so they don't become destructive, either physically or mentally, and how to become a team that actually works together and that you're on the same side working together to overcome the injury and become closer to full recovery. How the program works and how beneficial it is to participants can vary greatly. What we expect for our participants is to take something positive away for them. What is working for one couple, as it were, may not work for another. And the challenge with this injury is that it affects different people differently. So there are occasions where the program simply doesn't have a positive outcome for the participants. And part of the challenge with treatment for OSI is often you don't know until you try. The big thing for us is people have to understand that they're injured. And if you don't acknowledge your injury, this program isn't right for you yet. You need to be in a place where you understand you need help understanding the injury and how to move forward. What we want people to take away from the program is a better understanding of what crisis is, what conflict is, what good communication is, and how to understand the difference between being triggered into a mental health crisis or a conflict or the combination of both. So when people leave our program, they have a better understanding how to navigate through crisis and conflict through effective communication. When they leave, they have the basic skills on how to deal with these, and the expectation is upon returning for additional phases, they can build upon those, where eventually they're able to have those typical homegrown arguments that don't escalate into major disruptions within the family. Long story short, we just want people to regain their lives, regain their relationships, and regain their families through communication. So why are we using horses and what can they teach you? There's a couple of things here. For example, let me give you the difference between a horse and a dog. If a dog loves you, you can kick it, beat it, stomp it. It'll always crawl back to you. A horse, like a relationship, will eventually tell you to take a hike. So we're using horses for very specific reasons. We're not here trying to make cowboys out of anyone or anything ridiculous like that. We understand that there's going to be a lot of emotional upheaval during the program. So we use horses specifically because they're a social animal. They, just like people, they crave social activity. They need interaction with other animals. They crave, thrive, depend on that social interaction. So if you see a horse standing out in the field all day, all by itself, that's a horse that's actually in solitary confinement. It's punishment. Another reason for using a horse is, quite simply, is horses develop their own pecking order, their own chain of command. So anyone who's been in the uniform world is very comfortable with that and understands. And third, and the most important reason for using the horses, is we help our participants get to that place mentally, physically, emotionally, where the horse takes a look at them and says, you know what, you're worth the effort to relearn how to trust. You're worth the effort to relearn how to respect. And that horse will go up to that individual without a lead, without a rope, all on its own, because they see value in that person. And if a horse can do that, there's every opportunity for a relationship as well. the first portion of the program, quite simply, is classroom work, understanding the conflict, the crisis. What do you bring to a conversation? For example, the veteran can come home, walk through the front doors, honey, I'm home. Meanwhile, honey and the kids are looking for cover and trying to gain as much distance. Where the veteran's sitting there saying, I'm having a good day, what's going on? Not understanding the pressure they can put on the family life. Using the horses, we take what we learn in the classroom about conversation, about pressure, about release, how to approach a conversation, and we go into the horse arena. On our 3-phase program, the first phase, phase 1, there's no riding of horses. It's all walk-along exercises on the ground. And during that time, it's understanding how much pressure do you put on each other for a conversation. Or, for example, if you have someone that approaches the conversation with a dickhead attitude, the horse will treat you like a dickhead. If you're someone who's quiet, calm, and has no self-confidence, the horse pushes you around. We're helping people understand how much pressure do they put on other people, or do they need to release pressure? So it's a combination of pressure and release, how you approach each other, and recognizing when you may be approaching the conversation in a completely wrong fashion. During the summer months, July, August, we run our phase 2 programs, which are where you come back either as a group of veterans or a group of first responders. And during that time, you actually learn for 3 days how to ride and care for horses. And at the end of the day on phase 2, we go to the campfire and have our daily debrief. Phase 2 is also available for spouses, because spouses need as much peer support as the injured do as well. And then at the end of summer, we'll run a phase 3 program where the couples reunite. We go out for a 3-night pack ride into the mountains to a high meadow cabin where individuals have their own cabins, no heat, no electricity, no running water, and you basically can say the way you graduate is you can have an argument and it's all good. Some of the more memorable results from the program and such are the unsolicited letters and emails we receive from past participants who tell us for the first time in 2 years the son has asked the father to go fishing, or the little girl who wants to spend time with mommy and daddy to go do something together. The family where the individual couldn't leave the house takes the whole family on a vacation to Florida pre-pandemic. So we get a lot of testimonials from our participants who have said that what we've taught them on the program has dramatically changed the impact the injury has had on their family. Long story short, we have people that have simply regained their families, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So success for the program is that people leave with an understanding that they can overcome the injury. That's the number one thing. The next is that the people that attend with their spouse, partner, or family member, good friend, that they're able to understand how to communicate effectively with each other in just small. In other words, we help them understand when they have a conversation, stay focused on one topic. For example, if they decide to have a conversation about an apple, they don't bring the whole fruit salad. They just stick with one topic, how to resolve it, and then move on from there without becoming sidetracked, without the conversations becoming destructive. The success is people are taking something that is going to help them improve their communication, understand the injury, and want to work harder on overcoming the injury.
Dan and I, after the first Can Praxis, like the first day, had our first real conversation that we'd had without any like anger or frustration in years. So I think it teaches some really super important skills that are good, not just dealing with your spouse with PTSD, but dealing with other people around you. It's life skills.
It is definitely life-changing, for sure. Even just, we're on phase 2, we did phase 1 last year, and even just those few days that we spent last year helped dramatically. Like, just so many small things, so many big things. One of the biggest things is that it helped with understanding and giving you tools and, you know, the communication, how to be able to communicate with each other so it's not always a fight. So Can Praxis has definitely helped dramatically, like life-changing. Oh yeah.